What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw August Artois.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Murray.
I'm Victor Henry.
Boy, Bulletproof Troop.
Billy Clark.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, CW Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street.
Luis Moreno. And
It's Mr. Classic.
Anthony Noy.
I'm Jason Punet.
The young ghost.
It's old Hattie Price here.
When I say what's my name, Snipes.
Richie Slade.
My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship online.
This is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later, love that dinners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are now watching and listening to Championship on the Line podcast. As usual, I'm joined with my co-host Rich, and I'm Alex. And today is a very, very special episode. We got a pro wrestler in the house. Recently, just debuted on PCW Ultra, and now he's going to be on Old Fashioned Wrestling December 9th at Don Quixote in Boyle Heights. So if you haven't bought your tickets, please buy them now because you're not going to want to miss. Everyone else is awesome card, but you're going to want to see Dallas King, ladies and gentlemen. And he will be in action on December 9th in Boyle Heights. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Dallas King, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Really, really appreciate you coming on the show. We've been wanting you for a while. So, again, thank you so much. And as usual, we like to start off the show with a little quick segment where we ask you 10 fun questions about you. And is that cool? We do that with you?
Yeah, rapid fire. Let's do it.
All right, awesome. Take it away, Rich.
Awesome. We'll start right away. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time. I think this past month, with it being October, been watching a lot of horror for the first time. So right now, I think Halloween is on the top of that list, just on the top of my head.
Nice.
Did you like the new one that just came out?
I watched it. I had mixed feelings at first. I watched it a second time, and I liked it a lot more. I think it's a solid movie for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Alex and I, we saw it too. It's a little more violent. Like he did a lot more.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Especially compared to those 80s movies, you don't realize they're hardly violent at all.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah, for sure. Next, what is your favorite TV show of all time?
I haven't watched a lot of TV in a long time. I think I'll say Workaholics.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. I love that show.
It's a good show.
Favorite character?
I think I like Durs the most. And Anders the most is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
But they're all great, all three of them. They make that show. It's a fun watch.
Oh man, when the series finale came out, oh man, I was heartbroken when they announced it.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a solid ending. Never felt like it ended right. But, but I hear they're coming back with like a movie soon, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, same. It's awesome.
Awesome pick. Favorite sports team of all time?
Sports team. I think I'm gonna say the Dallas Cowboys. They were my dad's favorite football team his whole entire life. That's not where I got my name from, just to point that out. But I think that's the one sports team I've supported pretty much my whole life with them, so probably them.
Nice. Do you have what is your favorite meal you like to eat?
Oof. I don't you can't go wrong with a good steak, especially a more expensive cut. Yeah, when it's cooked perfect, I think hardly anything beats that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you have like a favorite sides you like to go with?
I think the most common, probably some form of potato and probably like a
Yeah.
broccoli on the side. Nice and simple. Can't beat it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, what is your favorite season? Are you winter, summer, fall, or spring person?
I think probably fall, especially in Arizona. I think it's the balance. It's not too hot anymore. It's not too cold yet. That's kind of my perfect spot. That in between. I don't like being cold. I don't like being hot either. Definitely not summer here. Summers are the worst.
Oh yeah.
They must be brutal. Yeah.
They are for sure. You never get used to it.
Do you have a hobby outside of wrestling you like to do?
I think ever since I started wrestling, I think that kind of eats up all of my time. But aside of just wrestling myself, I take a lot of time at my wrestling school and I train people and I coach people and I do that a lot. And that's probably outside of just wrestling myself in the ring, that's the most fun part to do. So I think I would say that for sure.
Nice. Favorite video game of all time?
Ooh, video game. It's the last time I played a video game. Wrestling just took me out of everything. It's hard to find time. I feel like it's not fair to say one of the wrestling video games. I feel like everyone would say that because we all played them. Outside of that, I might say Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably the game I played the most outside of those.
Yeah, same here. Do you have a ritual you like to do before a match?
Not really. I just kind of get in the zone and I'm always just ready to go out there. I always feel like I'm busy doing something to where I just don't have time right now to have a ritual. I just got to have my stuff on and just, I think my ritual probably comes when I walk through, and my entrance, I think, is where I really get myself in that zone and kind of get ready to go.
Nice. Favorite music artist or band you like to listen to?
I think I'd say it's this rock band. They recently changed their name to Rain City. They used to be called Slaves. I think that'd probably be my favorite band. I listen to them a lot. I'll plug the other band, Fit for a King, because they're the band that does the entrance music that I use, Breaking the Mirror, which is a really, really good song that I feel like encapsulates everything I'm about.
Nice.
Nice.
If you can have a match with someone that isn't a wrestler, it could be a celebrity, athlete, character from movie, cartoon, anybody, who would it be with?
Oof, that's a tough one. Maybe Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious.
Oh, wow.
I feel like that
That's
could
cool.
be interesting, seeing him in a ring for sure.
That would be nice. Yeah. Cool. How would you see that match going?
That's a hard one. I think we both got a lot of heart.
That's cool.
That's so cool. It's crazy because I can even picture that match like at let's say like in a parking lot with cars or something. You guys just beat each other.
Just a good old fashioned street fight. Yeah, for sure. I could see that. That might give him the advantage though. I don't know if I'd want to give him that much.
Yeah,
that's what he's used to.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking to say like a racetrack or like a garage. Like that would be crazy. Oh.
That'd be so cool. But again, Dallas, really do appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with us. Very happy to have you on. But first, I want to get started, with the beginning of your journey. So, first off, what got you into wrestling at first?
So originally it would be my dad. Like before, he was a fan growing up when he was younger, back when it was just replays of the AWA on ESPN, and growing up through the WWF and Hogan and Savage. And I was born and he just sat me down beside the Attitude Era together, me and him. And just as long as I can remember, wrestling has been a part of my life. And it's always been there. And I couldn't imagine not being a part of my life.
All right, awesome. But yeah, like Rich was saying that, like even with us too, like our dad got us into wrestling too, you know, like putting on TV and just watching it from a kid. And it was awesome. Like for us, we grew up more of like the Ruthless Aggression. So we grew up like watching like, you know, guys like Triple H, Batista, you know. So it's really cool, man. Like I like hearing those type of stories. Like even like for us, like they're like our dads are the ones that got us into it, which is pretty cool. But who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
So I think in the era I grew up in, I was a little bit younger in the Ruthless Aggression. So I was that prime age a little bit after that, to where my favorite growing up was always John Cena. I was a John Cena kid through and through all the way growing up. Even to this day, he's up there. He's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's a lot of people's favorites. Everyone's favorite pretty much. And if they say they're not, then you know you're lying, because everyone likes John Cena.
Yeah. At one time.
But also, you know, like tell us, you know, what made you finally make the decision to go to wrestling school? Like when did it all come about, you joining wrestling school?
So for me, it's always been the one and only thing I ever knew that I wanted to do. Because I'm in school and everything, and they're like, what do you want to do with your future? I'm like, no, I want to be a wrestler. And like, what do you actually want to do? And I'm like, no, I want to be a wrestler. And I'm out of high school and I'm taking some time to figure out what I'm going on forward. And my introduction is kind of a little weird to wrestling. Somehow I managed to get my foot in the door at the local scene out here, and I would help set up the rings for the shows. And once those were put together, there was time before the shows where they allowed me to get in the ring and kind of try to train myself. I got lucky, and eventually there were some guys that were properly trained that like saw my hard work and saw that I wanted it, and they were willing to kind of help me with the basics and just showing me a little bit of stuff until they knew that I wanted to stick around. Because if I was them, I wouldn't just show me everything either. And then eventually down the road, I lucked into finally getting to meet my two main trainers, Dom Vitale and Gabriel Gallo. I talked to them and we set up me meeting them, and I met them at the school, the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center. And it was just off the races from there.
And tell us, what was like your first day of training like? What was the whole experience like for you going into wrestling school for the first time?
So this school, in my opinion, does things very different than most do, but I also think it's done the right way. We have a very specific process where we have to do 6 weeks of cardio and conditioning training outside of the ring, which is great because that ring is right there. That's your fuel. You see it. You're not allowed to touch it, get in it, but you know that's what you want. So you're willing to do whatever they ask you to do outside of the ring. Before that, they have a tryout to make sure that you're physically fit enough to even handle that. And that was just a big like wake-up call that I at the time wasn't exactly where I needed to be. But it was great because it gives you like almost a roadmap of, okay, if I can do these things, that's step one. And something that they told me they saw right away was a lot of heart and not wanting to give up and seeing that I actually did want to do this. And being able to put that forth. I've always kind of been an athlete. In school, I did football. I was always super into weightlifting. So I was physically capable. In those 6 weeks, I just got better and better. And then it was finally time to step into the ring.
And training under, you know, with Dom Vitale, was there any advice that he'd given you that like still sticks with you?
I think the biggest thing that he still reminds me to this day is you gotta remember to just be true to yourself, be yourself always, because people can feel that. It's obvious to people when you're being authentic and when you're not, because they themselves know when they put different faces on, whether it be at work in front of certain people, so they can read that right away. And that also helps when you're alone, like being true to yourself. You know if you're not giving 100% or not, whether it be in the gym or in the ring. So just kind of reminding yourself of that, I think, has probably been the most helpful.
And during training too, you know, was there like, any footage that you would watch on a specific wrestler to kind of get like a little bit of inspiration of like your ring style? Was there any like specific wrestler you would watch?
So it changes. You'd be surprised how much it kind of changes over time. You find what you're good at, what you're not, what you're more acclimated to. When I was younger, like the best guys, everyone loved Eddie Guerrero and Malenko. And then after that, you like guys like Triple H and Orton. But as I started to wrestle and find my style, I found that those guys, I could take things from them, but that wasn't really the style that worked for me and like my size and how I could move. So I had to go back even further and found guys like that I knew of, like Terry Gordy, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. I take a lot from them. And then I take a lot from Mike Knotts, who actually trained alongside one of my trainers. They both came up together. So he wrestles a lot like him. And then now it's passed to me and I wrestle a lot like the both of them. So that's probably the biggest in-ring inspiration's him for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. And was there ever a time like with Arizona Training Center, was there ever a time they even brought like, let's say like a big name for like a seminar? Was there like seminars you ever attended to?
Yeah, early on when I was still super new, we had Too Cold Scorpio come into the school.
Ooh.
And this is one of my favorite stories to tell because I think it's what really kind of locked me in and know that I couldn't give this up. I couldn't do like much of anything at that point. I could just do the super basics. And he was willing to just go through the basics with a lot of us because a lot of us were still newer. The school was still pretty much in its infancy. And for some reason, I just stood out to him. And there were things I hadn't done yet. And he's like, just try it, just go for it. And I'd do it. And he just talked me up. He thought I had a lot of potential. And he came back for one of our shows a couple months later. And we had just a good 30-minute talk outside where he told me, he's like, I think you can do this. I think you can travel the world doing this. I think you can make a lot of money doing this. I think you got what it takes. And still at that point, I didn't really know anything. I still was not that good at all, but he just saw something in me. So to again, go back to more recently to see him again at a PCW Ultra and to be able to show him how far I've come and show him now I'm doing it. And now that ball's starting to roll. I think that's something super special.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's just like coming from a guy like him who's been everywhere and, who's a
done
legend. Yeah.
So he knows what it takes.
Oh, absolutely. And they get especially get a compliment from him. Like, that's just awesome, man. It just shows that, you're doing it and you're improving and, getting from him. It doesn't get no better than that,
Yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to like take me back, what was it like your first match? Like when you first made your debut, like what was that like? Like how did it feel come out of the curtain for the first time?
So to go back on that, I kind of had an unofficial type of debut a couple months before the official. So that first one was a Halloween costume battle royal.
Oh.
So where it was mostly just students. So the guys that I was training coming up with, this was all our first chance to wrestle in front of a crowd. And I got to be John Cena in that battle royal. Kind of do the John Cena thing where I started at number 1 and I ran the table and all the way through and I won it in the end. And that was something super special to me. But beyond that, a couple months later, I made my actual debut alongside my tag team partner to this day, MBW, against our trainers, Dom and Gallo, in a tag. So I would say I walked through that curtain and everyone told me that if they felt like I owned the place. And that's how I felt. Like I walked through and I was like, this is it. I've made it. I'm doing it. And I was confident in who I was. And Dom and Gallo made us earn our debut for sure, I would say, in that match.
That's so cool, man. That's so awesome, man. And tell me back, also like with your name to like Dallas King, like where did that come from? Like how did you get that name?
So Dallas, that's my actual name. And then King, it's I could just kind of all fell into place. I think I was having a conversation with Joe Graves, who's one of Dom and Gallo's close friends, and he's an absolute genius, and he's an ass kicker. And we just kind of sat and talked about what I wanted to do and like my goals and everything. And he kind of came up with it and threw it at me. He's like, "What do you think of this?" And I don't know, it just kind of fit and it stuck. And then over time, that's who I am now.
That's cool. I mean, and I like the name too. I think it matches perfectly. Dallas King, like it just has a snap to it, which is pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I was looking through your Instagram and everything, and I noticed you had a match with one of our past guests, which was Mr. Classic. Tell me back, what was it like working with him and having a match with Mr. Classic?
That was a lot of fun. The first match we had was my first ever singles match, and we just beat each other up. It was just a fight, and it was hard hitting, and I had a blast in there. I'm not sure he had a blast with me hitting him around, but it was a good time and it was memorable. And we just got to wrestle each other last night for the second time. And it was the same exact thing. It was just a fight. We just beat each other up. He's definitely a fun one to wrestle for sure. It's always a very interesting time in there.
Oh yeah, especially with him too as a person. Also, he's very interesting, very charismatic person. So even in the ring too. So that's so cool. And especially with now, recently you made your debut on PCW Ultra. Tell us, how did that come about? You having a match there, PCW.
So the powers that be at that show, it's kind of very tight knit with the people back here. And they have eyes. You never know who's watching you. And they had seen our school and just see what we could do. And I guess I stood out a lot to them. And I was just there that night and they needed people. They're like, "We have this spot available. We feel like you've earned it. We want you to take it." And it was just last minute, just throw it on and go out there. And it was a blast. It was all of that work. I felt like finally paying off with that. 'Cause I remember being there as a student, just helping out at the show and watching it go on. And that show is huge. That show is something special.
Oh yeah, especially because like for us, like we're from California, so like we're always hearing big things in PCW, and especially like their next shows coming up, like they're always bringing like big names and exciting matches. And the fact that like you debuted there and you killed it, like it's awesome, especially with the big audience they have with PCW, which is great, but also, now it's, like you said, you never know who's going to be watching, and now you're going to come back for Old Fashioned Wrestling December 9th. What are your thoughts going into with Old Fashioned Wrestling and also another big show in California? What are your thoughts going into that?
So that's super special to me because that's my first time breaking out of state lines officially and being chosen to go wrestle out in California. And I think I just got to do what I do every time and just trust that my ability is going to show through and all this hard work is going to continue to pay off and the ball is just going to keep rolling. And hopefully there's important people there that see that and I show them that I have what it takes to get even further. Because that's the goal, is to just get further and further along. I don't want to stay stagnant in one place for too long.
Oh, absolutely. And I like that too, because like now, like I said, you built a name in Arizona and now you're going to different places. Now you're going to California, which is, I think the way to do it is always expand, or like stay like in one place, like try to travel as many places to build your name, and which I think it's awesome what you're doing. And also, like I said, like you wrestled in PCW, you also face Devin Reno.
Yes.
Which also, what is like also working with him too?
So Devin is someone that he was a part of one of the first groups that I got to help with the initial training in. So after a while, Dom and Gallo, they trusted me in running people through that 6-week course in the beginning on the outside. So I got to do that and run him through that and help teach him a lot. So to help get him to where he is today in such a fast time and then get to share the ring with him, that's something super special that now we'll have forever.
Oh yeah, which is awesome. Like I even saw like some of the matches, the highlights and everything with on YouTube, and I think you guys killed it, man. I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
And especially with now, like when you look back in your career so far, which match has been your favorite?
It's a toss up between that first ever tag match and the series of matches that I was able to have just last night at our event, All Villains Eve, which is a charity event we're doing annually now. And that show was special because it was ran and put on in ring solely by the students of our school. So everything behind the curtain, everything in the ring, all the security, referees was all us. And I was fortunate enough to get to wrestle 3 different times that night for like 90 minutes total. And that was just something special we all got to share together. People that we see multiple times every week, that is my family. So that, I would say those are probably my 2 top favorites so far.
Awesome, man. That's so cool. That's so special. That's so cool. And especially with now, what are your goals as of now? Like, especially like, who do you want to work with in the future? Like, is there any specific wrestlers you want to work with?
So you've probably seen him. He wrestles on PCW Ultra. He's been killing it in FSW out in Vegas. Class. Class is someone that I want to share a ring with. He's someone that's been to our school, and that he's helped me so much by just getting to wrestle him. And he's someone who kicks my ass every time I wrestle him, but I feel like I'm better off for it. And he helps me be better, and just seeing someone that's as talented as he is and that looks as good as he does, it just makes me want to keep getting better. And I want to not only be as good as he is, but I want to be able to share a ring with him, especially in front of people. I think that'll be something special. Aside from him, I think someone, for all the same reasons, Alex Hammerstone. He helped me so much. He was a trainer at our school for a while everything was kind of slowed down. He wasn't wrestling as much. And I felt like I was getting kind of stagnant in my training and it wasn't moving along. And he helped me get over that and get to the next level. And I think a big part of me is only as good as I am because I had him. So just to get to the point to have the ability to where I feel like I deserve to stand across from him in a ring, I think I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, absolutely, man. Of course, like in the future, we would love to see that. I think those will be really great matches, especially with Hammerstone, even Class. I mean, Class is going to be at the show December 9th, so maybe we might see.
Maybe. Nothing's announced really yet, so who knows?
Absolutely, like I'm saying, maybe we might see you guys on that day, maybe one-on-one. I think it'll be such a great match, but hopefully
it'd be a good surprise.
And then even if now, what are your goals as signing for promotion? Is there any specific promotion or even countries you want to travel that you would like to be with?
I'm kind of right now kind of enjoying the journey and the experience. I feel like you kind of have points to where like it would be cool to get to travel to Europe to wrestle. It'd be cool to go up north to Canada, travel to Japan, Mexico. But I think the end goal for me ultimately is to get to NXT and then WWE. To me, that's still very much the pinnacle. That's the place to go. So that's kind of the end goal. And if I happen to go to any of those other places during that journey, that'd be awesome. But I don't think I have anything specific other than to keep getting better and make my name bigger and bigger and just see where that takes me.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially with with now with everything going on with AEW and WWE and Impact, so many promotions. How much wrestling do you watch on a daily basis? Like, what programs are you watching?
So honestly, not that much because I'm spending so much time training and training other people and now wrestling pretty much every weekend, if not every other. But as of late, if I have the time for it, I go back a lot, and I've actually really been enjoying watching NXT and its new 2.0. I think it's been a very fun show to watch with a lot of guys that are kind of in my age bracket that I want to be able to get up there and work with them.
Oh yeah, especially hopefully in the future, we would love to see you do work with them. I think it'll be awesome. You know, and also, you know, like you said, you know, you're also doing training. You're also training students like yourself. You're a student. What is it now like being in the opposite side of now training, you know, young students? How's that process been for you?
It's rewarding for sure to get to watch them develop, same as I did, and be able to help them along. And then watching that pay off is I get to wrestle them and I watch them start wrestling. And it also helps me get even better because now I'm getting a chance to refine my skills as I go back and I work on basics with them, and it helps mine get even better. And sometimes they point things out to me that I missed or I'm always learning still. So it's like we're teaching each other along the way.
Mm-hmm. And especially with now, you know, like let's say if someone's watching this and wants to become a professional wrestler, what advice could you give to someone that wants to be in this business?
I think you could never, a lot of people see it and they kind of take for granted how hard it really is. Even the most basic of things are more difficult than they appear to the eye. I think being in the gym consistently is the most important thing. And not just lifting weights. You don't got to be, everyone can't be Alex Hammerstone, but you can still be in some semblance of shape. And I think cardio, even above that, is like the most important. You can never have good enough cardio, could always be better. And none of that cardio is going to prepare you for once you step into that ring, but it's definitely going to make it easier than having none. So just being in the gym as much as you possibly can and working on all those different skills, speed, strength, endurance. I think that's the most important thing, especially before entering a school.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Totally agree. And, you know, it's great advice. And everyone that's watching, please listen because it's such great advice. You want to be a wrestler, please listen to this man. Again, thank you so much, Dallas, for being on. You know, we had so much fun having you on. Is there anything real quick that you want to plug in? Any bookings coming up or even social media? Anything you want to plug in?
Yeah. So if you're out here in the West Coast or especially Arizona and you're looking for somewhere to train, we're starting a new class in December. All that stuff's available on the school's Instagram at TrainInAZ or on Facebook at the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center. And on top of that, I would say just watch what Phoenix Championship Wrestling's doing. That's the Arizona subsidiary of PCW. We're doing great things. We're drawing huge houses, bigger than anything else out here, putting on shows that, in my opinion, are better than anything else you'll find. I think if you can find a way to just be a part of that, even from afar, I think that's worth it. I think we covered everything else. The December 9th show coming up, that's going to be something special. And PCW just announced their anniversary show in January, and I'm hoping I can somehow find a way to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, man. PCW, you're watching this, please book this man. Okay, you got to book him at the anniversary show. And again, for ladies and gentlemen, he will be at Old Fashioned Wrestling on December 9th in Boy Heights, California. Please purchase the tickets because you're not going to want to miss him, especially with Dallas. You're not going to want to miss him. You need to see him in person. Please, again, buy your tickets. And again, I'll put everything in the description below. Please follow, support Dallas King. You're not going to regret it. He's doing big things, ladies and gentlemen, doing great big things. So again, Dallas, we really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And again, that's going to do it us here for Championship Online Podcast. He's Rich. I'm Alex. We'll see you guys next time here at Championship Online.